The breaking point. The first meeting. The crystal halls of Station Nexus gleamed under artificial starlight. Ambassador Marcus Chen walked through the corridor with measured steps. His black diplomatic uniform bore Earth's emblem on the shoulder. Behind him, Dr. Sarah Bennett carried a slim data device. They had traveled 6 months to reach this place. Earth had joined the stars only 4 years ago. Now they would meet the powers that ruled the galaxy. The Grand Assembly chamber opened before them. Massive doors slid apart without sound. Inside, delegates from 40 species waited. Some had scales that changed color. Others had multiple eyes or bodies that floated in containment fields. The air smelled of different atmospheres mixing through filters. Marcus entered and stood at the designated spot. A tall being with silver skin stepped forward. Its voice came through translation devices worn by all present. I am Coordinator Velnus of the Galactic Trade Union. We welcome Earth to these proceedings. Marcus nodded respectfully. Thank you, Coordinator. Humanity is honored to participate. Around the chamber, various delegates observed. Some seemed curious. Others appeared indifferent. Sarah noticed that many kept their distance, forming small groups that excluded the human representatives. Understanding the system. The meeting lasted 8 hours. Delegates from different worlds discussed trade routes, resource allocation, and territorial boundaries. Marcus listened carefully to each speaker. Sarah recorded everything on her device. When the session ended, a small insectoid delegate approached them. Its name was Chitrik, representing the Novan Commonwealth. Through its translator, it spoke in short bursts. Your species is young. Very young. The Union has rules. Many rules. You will learn them slowly. Sarah smiled politely. We're eager to understand how things work here. Chitrik's antenna twitched. Understanding and accepting are different things. The Union decides much. Individual worlds decide little. After the delegate departed, Marcus and Sarah returned to their quarters on the station. The room was functional but cold. Sarah activated their secure communication system. That was revealing, she said quietly. Marcus removed his jacket and sat down. They're evaluating us. Every word, every gesture. We need to be careful. Sarah pulled up data on her screen. I've been analyzing the trade agreements they showed us. The terms heavily favor established members. Newer civilizations pay much more for protection and receive less in return. Marcus studied the numbers. His expression darkened. This isn't a partnership. It's a hierarchy. The proposal. 3 days later, the Union presented Earth with its membership contract. Marcus and Sarah reviewed the document in their quarters. The terms appeared on holographic displays that filled the small room. Sarah read through section after section. Her face grew tense. They want access to our quantum computing research. They want limits on our colonial expansion. They want Earth to pay protection fees equal to 15% of our gross planetary output. Marcus scrolled to another section. And look here. Any new technology we develop must be submitted to Union review before implementation. They can restrict its use if they determine it affects galactic stability. Stability, Sarah repeated. Meaning anything that might challenge their control. For hours they analyzed the contract. The deeper they looked, the worse it became. Earth would have membership in name only. Real decisions would remain with the Union's senior members. Human colonies would face restrictions that older civilizations no longer endured. Marcus stood and walked to the viewport. Outside, stars scattered across the darkness. Somewhere among them was Earth. We came here believing in cooperation, he said. But this is subjugation dressed in diplomatic language. Sarah joined him at the window. What do we do? We follow our instructions. Accept the initial terms. But we document everything. Every restriction, every unfair clause, every piece of evidence we can gather. The first year. Earth officially joined the Galactic Trade Union on a Tuesday. Celebrations occurred across human space. People believed they had secured their place among the stars. They did not know the price that came with it. Marcus and Sarah returned to Earth as heroes. They met with President Catherine Rodriguez in the capital. The president's office overlooked the city where humanity's government coordinated its expansion into space. The public thinks this is a triumph, Catherine said, reviewing the contract Marcus had signed. But you're telling me it's a trap. Marcus nodded. A sophisticated one. We need time to build our strength before we can challenge it. Over the following months, Earth complied with Union requirements. Protection fees went to Union accounts. Technology reports submitted on schedule. Human ships followed designated routes. On the surface, everything appeared normal. But beneath this compliance, other work began. Engineers studied Union technology for weaknesses. Military planners designed defensive systems. Scientists developed innovations in secret facilities. And across human colonies, people started to notice problems. Colonial struggles. Commander James Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of New Terra colony. The settlement sprawled across the valley below. 5,000 people called this place home. They had built farms, factories, and research centers. New Terra was humanity's pride. But lately, things had changed. Union inspection ships arrived weekly. They checked cargo. They reviewed production reports. They questioned colonists about their activities. The presence felt less like partnership and more like occupation. James's assistant, Lieutenant Maria Santos, approached with a data pad. "Sir, another Union harvester just entered orbit. They're requesting permission to extract minerals from the northern range." James frowned. "That's the third request this month. The agreement allows them 2 extractions per quarter. They're citing emergency provisions," Maria explained. "Apparently there's a shortage of those minerals elsewhere in Union space." "There's always a shortage," James muttered. He approved the request because he had no choice. Refusing Union access could result in sanctions against the colony. As the Union harvester descended toward the mining sites, James watched through his binoculars. The machines moved with efficient precision. They would take what they wanted and leave. New Terra received minimal compensation. The Union claimed the minerals went toward maintaining trade routes and protection services that benefited everyone. James didn't believe that anymore. He contacted Earth and sent detailed reports to Marcus Chen's office. Other colony commanders did the same. Slowly, a picture emerged. The Union wasn't protecting human settlements. It was exploiting them. The evidence mounts. 2 years after Earth's entry into the Union, Sarah Bennett compiled a massive database. She worked from a secure facility beneath Geneva. Her team consisted of analysts, economists, and intelligence specialists. The evidence was overwhelming. Union ships took resources beyond agreed limits. Technology sharing flowed one direction only. Human merchant vessels faced inspections that Union members avoided. Colonial governors reported increasing interference in local decisions. Sarah presented her findings to a secret council. President Rodriguez attended along with military leaders and senior diplomats. The room fell silent as graphs and statistics filled the displays. "They've been systematically disadvantaging us from day one," Sarah explained. "The protection we pay for rarely materializes. When pirates attacked our convoy near the Centauri route last month, Union security ships were hours away. Yet those same ships appear instantly when we approach restricted zones." Admiral Jonathan Blake spoke up. "What about the other young civilizations? Are they experiencing similar treatment?" Sarah nodded. "Yes. I've made contact with diplomatic staff from the Novan Commonwealth and the Dalarian Confederacy. Both face the same patterns. The Union maintains control through economic pressure and technological restrictions. Marcus added his observations. The senior Union members, particularly the Valkyrie and the Xinthian Collective, have held power for centuries. They've created a system that keeps newer species dependent and subordinate. They don't want partners. They want resources and compliance. President Rodriguez leaned back in her chair. Can we challenge this through Union channels? We've tried, Marcus replied. Every formal complaint gets delayed, reviewed, and ultimately dismissed. The Union has procedures designed to prevent change. The president looked around the room at her advisors. Then we need to consider alternatives. The decision. 6 months of planning followed. Earth's leadership debated options. Some argued for continued diplomatic pressure. Others suggested building alliances with other disadvantaged species. A few voices called for immediate withdrawal. Marcus spent those months traveling between Earth and the Union Station. He attended meaningless meetings where senior delegates ignored human concerns. He filed formal protests that vanished into bureaucratic systems. He watched as Union ships continued to exploit human colonies. Finally, President Rodriguez called a special session. Earth's Security Council gathered in complete secrecy. No recordings would be made. No transcript would exist. What they decided in that room would change humanity's future. We've given the Union 3 years, Catherine began. We've followed their rules. We've paid their fees. We've submitted to their restrictions. In return, we've received nothing but exploitation and contempt. Marcus stood to present the final analysis. Remaining in the Union under current terms will permanently limit human development. We'll become like the Novan Commonwealth, trapped in a subordinate role for generations. But leaving carries enormous risks. Admiral Blake outlined the military situation. Union forces vastly outnumber ours. In direct conflict, we would lose. However, conflict may not be inevitable. If we prepare properly. The debate continued for hours. Every angle examined. Every risk weighed. Finally, the president called for a decision. We withdraw from the Union, she declared. But not immediately. We need time to prepare. 6 months minimum. Around the table, heads nodded in agreement. The choice was made. Earth would leave the negotiation table. But first, humanity would build the strength to survive what came next. Sarah looked at Marcus. Both understood the magnitude of what they had just decided. The galaxy would shake in response. They could only hope humanity would still be standing when the tremors stopped. The silent preparation. Going dark. The announcement came on a Monday morning. Ambassador Marcus Chen stood before the Union Assembly and delivered Earth's message. His voice remained calm and professional throughout. The United Earth Government thanks the Galactic Trade Union for its consideration. After careful review of our membership terms and experiences, humanity has decided to withdraw from formal Union participation. We will honor existing resource contracts through their completion dates. After that, Earth will pursue an independent path. Silence filled the chamber. Then chaos erupted. Delegates shouted questions. Coordinator Velnus demanded explanations. Marcus answered none of them. He simply collected his materials and left the assembly hall. Sarah walked beside him. Neither looked back. Their shuttle departed the station within the hour. As they traveled toward Earth, Sarah monitored Union communications. The chatter was intense. Shock, anger, and confusion dominated the channels. They never expected this, she observed. In 1,000 years of Union history, no species has voluntarily withdrawn. Marcus watched the stars through the viewport. They thought we were too weak to survive alone. They're probably right, based on current capabilities. That's why we need time. When they reached Earth, military protocols activated immediately. Communication with Union space reduced to minimal commercial traffic. Human ships recalled from deep Union territory. Colonies went quiet, ceasing all unnecessary broadcasts. To outside observers, it appeared humanity was retreating into isolation. But inside human space, activity exploded. The underground renaissance. Dr. Elizabeth Park stood in a massive facility carved beneath the Himalayan mountains. The chamber stretched for kilometers. Thousands of engineers and scientists worked at stations throughout the space. Holographic displays showed projects in various stages of development. Elizabeth directed the Advanced Research Division. Her mandate was simple: develop technologies that would make Earth independent and defensible. No restrictions. No union oversight. Complete freedom to innovate. Status on the stealth project, she asked her lead engineer. Thomas Wright looked up from his workstation. Breakthrough last night. We've cracked the problem with quantum signature masking. Ships equipped with the new system will be completely invisible to Union sensors. Elizabeth smiled. How long until production models? 3 months for the first units. 6 months for full deployment across the fleet. She moved to another section where weapons specialists worked. And the defense systems? Non-lethal disruption technology is ready for testing, reported the weapons chief. We can disable ship systems without destroying vessels. It gives us options beyond simple destruction. Throughout the facility, similar conversations occurred. Propulsion engineers designed faster engines. Communication experts created unbreakable encryption. Materials scientists developed stronger armor. Every department pushed boundaries that Union restrictions had previously blocked. Above ground, the public knew nothing of this work. News reports spoke of economic adjustments and diplomatic recalibration. People trusted their leaders to handle the complexities. They didn't realize their world was preparing for potential conflict. Building the network. Commander David Park coordinated the colony fortification program. From his office on Mars, he communicated with settlement leaders across human space. Each colony received specific instructions. New Terra will focus on sensor networks, he explained during a secure conference. Your position near Union space makes you ideal for early warning systems. Commander Rodriguez acknowledged. Understood. We've already begun installing the equipment. Union inspectors won't detect it because it doesn't use conventional technology. David moved to the next colony on his list. Harmony Station, you'll establish the first deep space outpost. Location coordinates are encrypted in your packet. The Harmony administrator, Captain Lisa Chen, reviewed the data. That's beyond the mapped region. How will we construct without being noticed? Stealth construction ships, David answered. Dr. Park's team has equipped them with the new masking technology. To Union sensors, they'll appear as natural asteroids or cosmic debris. Across 12 colonies, similar preparations occurred. Each settlement became a node in an expanding defense network. Supply depots hidden in asteroid fields. Sensor stations disguised as mining operations. Communication relays buried in moon bases. Humanity built a web of capabilities throughout its territory. The work required perfect coordination. One mistake, one careless transmission, and the Union would discover Earth's activities. But humans had learned patience. Every worker understood the stakes. Failure meant permanent subjugation. The technology revolution. Sarah Bennett visited the orbital laboratories above Venus. Here, civilian scientists worked alongside military researchers. The combination produced remarkable results. Dr. Raj Patel demonstrated the latest achievement. We call it adaptive camouflage. Watch this. He activated a small device on the laboratory table. Before Sarah's eyes, it seemed to vanish. Not perfectly invisible, but remarkably difficult to see. The system bends light around objects, Raj explained. It's not true invisibility, but at distances greater than 50 meters, detection becomes nearly impossible. And it works on ships? Sarah asked. We've tested it on scout vessels. Full implementation across the fleet begins next month. In another section, engineers worked on something entirely different. Energy shields that could deflect particle weapons. Manufacturing systems that could produce ships faster than Union shipyards. Medical technology that enhanced human endurance in space environments. The Union had kept humanity restrained. Now, freed from those limitations, innovation accelerated at unprecedented rates. Technologies that would have taken decades to develop emerged in months. Sarah recorded everything she saw. Her reports went directly to President Rodriguez. Each week brought new capabilities. Each month closed the gap between human and Union forces. But one question remained: would they have enough time? The Watchers. Far from Earth, in the depths of Union space, Marcus Chen maintained a different kind of presence. He hadn't returned to Earth with Sarah. Instead, he remained on a small human trading outpost near Union territory. His mission was intelligence gathering. From this position, he monitored Union reactions to Earth's withdrawal. What he learned proved valuable. They're divided, he reported to President Rodriguez during a secure call. The senior members want to make an example of us. But younger Union species are watching carefully. Some privately express admiration for Earth's courage. Catherine Rodriguez listened from her office. Are any willing to join us? Not openly. They fear Union retaliation. But the Novan Commonwealth has increased private trade with our merchants. The Delarian Confederacy requested technical consultations. They're building connections without formal declarations. Marcus pulled up surveillance data. More importantly, Union military movements show confusion. They've increased patrols near our borders, but they haven't positioned forces for an invasion. I think they're uncertain how to respond. Good, Catherine said. Uncertainty buys us time. How much longer can you maintain your cover there? A few more months. After that, the risks increase. Union intelligence has started questioning independent traders. Return before they identify you. Your knowledge is too valuable to risk. After the call ended, Marcus looked at the Union station visible through his viewport. Massive and powerful, it represented centuries of established control. Earth challenged that control with only a few years of spacefaring experience. Either humanity would succeed in reshaping the balance of power, or they would be crushed as a warning to others. Marcus refused to consider the second option. The final preparations. 6 months after Earth's withdrawal, Admiral Jonathan Blake inspected the defense fleet. Ships that hadn't existed a year ago now filled orbital dockyards. Each vessel incorporated technologies developed during the secret preparation period. The flagship is ready, reported Captain Williams. EDS Defiance is fully operational. Jonathan studied the massive vessel. It dwarfed anything Earth had built before. Stealth systems, defensive shields, non-lethal weapons, and advanced sensors made it formidable. And the rest of the fleet? 47 ships completed. Another 30 in final stages. We'll have the full complement operational within 2 weeks. Jonathan nodded with satisfaction. When Earth had withdrawn from Union, they possessed maybe 20 capable military vessels. Now they had nearly 80, with more in production. On the ground, President Rodriguez prepared for what would come next. Intelligence suggested Union patience was ending. Coordinator Velness had made speeches about maintaining order. Senior delegates discussed appropriate responses to Earth's defiance. Catherine called her advisors together one final time. Are we ready? Admiral Blake answered first. Military preparations are complete. We can defend our space. Sarah Bennett added her assessment. Our technology now equals or exceeds Union standards in key areas. We've caught up remarkably fast. Dr. Park provided the final piece. Colony networks are established. Supply lines are secure. We can sustain ourselves independently. Catherine looked at each person. Then we wait for their move. Earth has left the negotiation table. Now we see how the galaxy responds.